If there's a narcissist in your life, there's a good chance you've spent a long time feeling like they have all the power. They walk into the room, and everyone tenses up. They say something cruel, and somehow you're the one apologizing. They lie, twist, rewrite history, and while you're still trying to process what happened, they're already acting like nothing's wrong. From the outside, it looks like they're fearless, untouchable, always one step ahead. But that's not actually true. Narcissists are not strong. They are fragile people with very loud armor. And there are some very specific things that armor cannot handle. This video is about those pressure points. 5 tactics narcissists hate the most. Not because they hurt them physically, not because you get revenge, but because they quietly dismantle the control they have over you. These are not dramatic blow-ups. No screaming matches. No public call-outs. They're small shifts that starve their ego of the reactions it feeds on, hand their chaos back to them, and slowly give your mind and your life back to you. Let's start with the one that makes them hungrier than anything else. And what happens when you stop feeding them? Tactic 1. The emotionless mirror. There is one thing a narcissist cannot live without: your reaction. They will happily take your anger, your tears, your confusion, your desperate explanations. They don't actually care what you say. They care that you're activated. Every flinch, every raised voice, every long paragraph you send at 2 a.m. confirms something for them. I matter. I can still control how you feel. So the first tactic they hate is when you stop being a spark and become a mirror. Calm, flat, boring. They throw the usual hooks at you. You're overreacting. You always do this. Everyone else thinks you're crazy. Instead of arguing, you respond with something like, I don't see it that way. You're entitled to your opinion. Or sometimes, simply, okay. No raised voice. No emotional essay. Just a steady, almost boring reply. To a healthy person, this is just calm communication. To a narcissist, it's starvation. They were expecting a feast. Your face changing, your voice shaking, your texts blowing up their phone. Instead, they get nothing dramatic. And here's the thing. Narcissists are addicted not to you, but to the emotional high they get through you. When the supply dries up, they hate it, and they start looking for it somewhere else. The emotionless mirror is not about pretending you don't feel anything. It's about refusing to perform those feelings for their entertainment. On the outside, it looks like 3 boring words. On the inside, it's the first time in a long time that your nervous system isn't playing their game. Tactic 2. Slowing down their story. Narcissists live on speed. They throw words at you fast. Accusations, half-truths, old mistakes, new invented crimes. The goal is simple: overwhelm you before you can think. You've probably felt it before. They're talking, your stomach is dropping, and your brain is scrambling to defend yourself. By the time you spot the lie, the conversation has already jumped to 3 new topics, and somehow you're apologizing again. This is why the second tactic they hate is slowness. Not a fight, not a lecture, just one kind of sentence. I'm not sure I follow. Can you explain that more clearly? When exactly did that happen? Can you give me a specific example? You're not yelling. You're not calling them a liar. You're doing something far more dangerous to them. You're asking their story to stand still long enough to be seen. Here's why this works. Most of a narcissist's narratives are not built to survive close inspection. They're designed to hit you emotionally, not logically. When you slow things down, when you ask for clear details, timelines, examples, the whole structure starts wobbling. They contradict what they said last time. They get vague. They get annoyed you're overanalyzing. Or they suddenly want to change the subject. You haven't raised your voice once. You haven't called them out. You simply made them responsible for making sense. Narcissists hate that because sense was never the point. Control was. Every time you calmly ask for clarity instead of immediately defending yourself, you hand the pressure back where it belongs, on their words, not on your worth. Tactic 3. The written truth they can't scramble. There's a special kind of exhaustion that comes from constantly being told, you're remembering it wrong. That's not what I said. You always twist things. Not just disagreed with, not even argued with, but having your entire reality calmly dismissed. After enough rounds of this, most people do something heartbreaking. They stop trusting their own mind. They think, maybe I do overreact. Maybe I am too sensitive. Maybe I'm the problem. Narcissists rely on that doubt. It's one of their favorite tools, gaslighting. So the third tactic they hate is when you quietly build something stronger than their version, a record of your own reality. not to throw in their face, not to start a courtroom battle, but to protect your mind from being slowly rewritten. It can be as simple as a note on your phone, a small notebook, a voice memo after a call. You jot down what was said, when it was said, how you felt. You do it calmly, like a scientist collecting data, not like a lawyer building a case. Over time, something powerful happens. You start seeing patterns, the same accusations, the same cycles, the same apologies that never lead to change. You have something to look back on when they say, that never happened. Your brain stops floating in fog and remembers, no, I was there. I wrote it down. Narcissists hate this for two reasons. They can't keep moving the goalposts if you remember where they were yesterday. Their favorite trick, making you doubt yourself, stops working. Most of the time, you will never even show them your record. You don't need to. The point is not to convince them. The point is to reclaim your trust in you. And once your own memory is anchored, their gaslighting has nowhere soft to land. So far, you've seen 3 tactics narcissists quietly despise. Becoming an emotionless mirror instead of an explosive show. Slowing their story down until it falls apart. And keeping a written truth they can't erase. The next 2 go even deeper. One is about building an invisible exit out of their cage. And the last is about cutting the one chain they are sure you'll never break. They can't lock down tactic 4, the life. There's a reason narcissists slowly chip away at the rest of your world. They make little comments about your friends. She's jealous of you. He's using you. They question your family. Your parents never really understood you, did they? They complain about your hobbies. Why are you wasting time on that? You care more about that than you do about me. None of these lines shouted. Just quiet drops of poison over months and years. The goal isn't just to make you lonely. The goal is to make you dependent. Because a person who has close friends, supportive family, a job, a passion, a community, is a person who can leave. A narcissist's biggest fear is not losing you. It's losing control over you. Those are not the same thing. So the 4th tactic they hate is when you begin doing something they thought they'd killed. You start replanting yourself in the world outside of them. Not with a big announcement. Not with a dramatic, I'm leaving you speech. Very quietly you text back the friend you slowly drifted from. Say yes to that family dinner you kept dodging. Join the class you always wanted to try. Pick up the hobby that made you feel alive before all this. You give yourself, every week, one small thing that belongs only to you, doesn't revolve around them, and cannot be controlled by them. From the outside, it looks tiny. It's just a walk with a friend. It's just a pottery class. From the inside, something massive is happening. You are rebuilding support lines. You're letting other people see the real you. You're reminding your nervous system that the world is bigger than one person's moods. Every new connection, every old bond you water again, becomes a door they can't stand in front of, a window they can't cover, a piece of yourself they can't hold hostage. They will feel it. They won't always be able to say what changed, but they'll sense that the ground is not as soft under their feet. The room doesn't go as quiet when they enter. Their words don't echo as loudly inside you. You don't have to attack them. You don't have to explain yourself. You are simply outgrowing the space they try to keep you in. Narcissists hate that more than any argument you could ever start. Tactic 5. Releasing the hope that keeps you hooked. Everything we've talked about so far is powerful. Becoming calm instead of explosive. Slowing their stories down. Protecting your own memory. Rebuilding a life outside of them. But there is one chain that can survive all of that if you're not careful. It's not in your phone. It's not in your diary. It's not in your social circle. It's in a very specific hope you're still carrying. The hope that one day they will finally understand. You know that loop. You replay the conversation in your head. You imagine telling them everything perfectly. The hurt, the confusion, the lies, the moments that broke you. You think, if I say it clearly enough, they'll see. If I can get them to admit it just once, I can heal. If they understood how much this hurt me, they would change. So you go back. You explain again. You send the long message. You have one more exhausting talk. Not because you're weak, but because you're human. We all want our pain to be seen by the person who caused it. Here is the brutal, freeing truth. A narcissist does not stay in denial because they don't get it. They stay there because your need for them to get it keeps you tethered. They already know what they said. They know what they did. They've seen the impact. If anything, that impact is the point. The act of not understanding is part of the control. It keeps you explaining, proving, re-entering their orbit. Every time you return to make them understand, you are accidentally saying, "Your recognition still has power over me. I still need something from you." And as long as they can feel that need, the door stays open on their side. The fifth tactic narcissists hate the most is when that need quietly dies. Not when you say, "I don't care," through gritted teeth. Not when you throw their things out while shaking with rage. When, deep down, you genuinely accept. They may never understand. They may never admit it. They may never feel what they should feel. And you stop standing at that locked door, begging it to open. Instead, you turn away and start knocking on different doors. Therapy, friends who actually listen, family who show up, inner work that has nothing to do with them, a future version of you who is no longer defined by their damage. That quiet turning away, that is what they cannot handle. They know how to react to your anger. They know how to react to your tears. They even know how to react to your temporary distance. What they do not know how to handle is your peace. The sight of you, living, laughing, healing, without waiting for them to get it first. That is the moment their control truly ends. Because for the first time, there is nothing left in you that belongs to them. Closing, the slow, real way out. None of these tactics are magic spells. A narcissist did not build their hold on you in a day. It was slow. It was careful. It was done in steps so small that by the time you noticed, you were already tangled. Untangling yourself works the same way. One calm reply instead of an explosion. One question that makes them think instead of you scrambling. One note in your phone after a conversation. One coffee with an old friend. One less attempt to make them understand. Tiny moments where, quietly, you choose yourself. If you're watching this, you've already started. The part of you that clicked on a video with this title, that listened all the way here, that recognized yourself in these words, that part of you is not broken. It's the part of you that refuses to give up on your own sanity. So here's what I want you to do next. Pick one of these 5 tactics. For the next week, focus only on that one. Notice how it feels in your body when you use it. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to leave before you're ready. You don't have to have the whole future figured out. You just have to stop giving them the power they were never meant to have over you. Bit by bit, conversation by conversation, day by day, you are allowed to take your life back. They will hate that. You don't exist to make them comfortable.